Hello, everybody. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids, subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. And Tom Trial, the man behind the scene who's waving at me right now. Wave, Tom. There you are. He's behind the scene, putting us on YouTube each and every week. So we thank Tom for what he does for us each and every week. Bob May is back with us. Bob, thanks for being here today.
You're welcome.
Detective Bob May with the Indiana State Police. He's going to be talking to us about a new tool that the Indiana State Police is receiving, and somebody that's going to be with us on another show also, but is talking with us because are you currently a diver or a former diver?
Former diver.
Former diver with the department. Still diver, probably.
Right. Yeah.
But doing with the department. Sergeant Trent Smith with the Indiana State Police is something that the divers kind of got this going and utilize it, but this can be utilized by anybody, can it, Bob?
Yes, it's a multi-purpose tool that anybody can use, but it's the tool of last resort.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the name of it? What's the official name?
It's called the Rescue Me.
Rescue Me. R-E-S-C-U-E?
R-E-S-Q-M-E.
Okay. Rescue Me. So I've got Tom. I want to show this here to somebody, or do I give it to you, or how do I get this on the actual video so people can see this? Hold that up. Got the official ISP site there, or insignia on the side of it. Very small device, but tell me how this came about, Bob. What the idea behind this, and how did we get involved with the Rescue Me tool?
Well, that is made in Indiana and assembled in California, and the Laurent Colossi is the man behind that. And through the years of being on the dive team with Trent, I found that, I purchased that myself. I found that to be the best tool after multiple trials and error underwater and above water.
Okay.
That is the best tool that I have found that will break a window.
Okay. So this is designed to, in the last resort, like you said, to break a window. But I'm sure you and Trent have both worked underwater with a lot of times you don't have to do that, do you? A lot of times, Trent, the windows still work?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing. One of the first dives I was ever on was recovering a pickup truck that had gone into a creek. And it had been in there 45 minutes to an hour, and the windshield wipers were still working. And the lights were still on, so it was kind of funny when we pulled it out. And I knew that when I hooked up to it, but you know, to see that come out of the water and everything still operational. So yeah, that is one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is if they drive a vehicle into water, they've got time, and most of the time to get out, and then they also have time that things are still going to function properly.
So if they don't function properly, though, and you have this tool, how's the best way to use this, Bob? How does this work?
You just push the black end up against the window.
Okay, so this would be this in.
And there's nothing in here I don't think you want to break. So
right. Yeah, I don't
have a pad of paper or something, you could try it on there as well too, because it basically it's got a little actuated punch in there that comes out, and with just enough force that it'll shatter a window.
Now, is there a better place than others to place this on a window?
Close to the pillars, not in the middle of the window. It flexes a little bit. Any place in the edge will work. But here's the thing about modern new cars might have safety glass on the side windows.
Okay.
So
safety glass being what? What are we talking about there? Like with
laminated glass that won't break. So that's why that's the tool of last resort. If your car plunges into the water, we want you to roll your window down. That is the easiest thing, is to roll your window down.
And like Trent's already said, it's going to work probably.
More than likely, unless you have just an extensive amount of side damage to your vehicle or front end damage, or you know, something that would have shut down your electrical. That more than likely still going to work. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have, as a rescuer, and you run up to a car that's on fire, or you run up that's in a wreck, or a car's in the water, partially submerged, you just walk up and you just push that up against the glass until it actuates, and then it's going to shatter the glass.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be loaded or preloaded.
You just push.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and you can use it as many times as you need to. And what we found out doing some testing a few weeks ago was the laminated glass. Typically, what you think about is on the front windshield.
Right.
It doesn't shatter. It's not tempered. It's got that sheet in between it that keeps it from doing that. Well, we were doing some tests on some of our junked ISP cars that were going to the crusher, and Bob was pushing up against the front passenger, or the front passenger and driver's side windows, and it kept clicking and clicking and clicking, and it'd do a little spider web, but it wasn't breaking it. And then we looked actually on the window, and this is what people can do. They can look on their car, and if they look at that bottom corner window, basically where their lock is going to be,
right,
it'll tell you whether or not it's safety glass. If it says anything like laminated or safety glass, most tools, rescue tools, will not work on that type of glass.
That's something fairly new, though, isn't it? That's not been a long time, has it?
Yeah, that's, I think, only been around for a couple years, and now I believe it's an option. They just found that, you know, it sounds like a great idea, but when people need to get out of a car because of to break a window or get out of a car in an emergency, it makes it a lot tougher to do.
Will it still work? You say it's kind of spider web, but when it does that, can you break it out then, or how does that work out?
I would say give up and go to the back glass. You're wasting your time. That's why we want you to roll your window down.
Yeah.
Because you're going to, I'm probably popped that 50 times on that glass, and it made a hole everywhere, but it would not give.
Yeah, because then I actually went back with my expandable baton.
Right.
And hit it several times. And
Yeah.
still was not able to shatter the glass like you would think. You know, eventually it'd punch a hole through it, but you're talking minutes to do that when you've only got seconds to, you know, whether, like Bob said, you're running up on a crash.
Right. Somebody had a heart attack with the doors locked or
sure,
something.
you know, or, you know, there's an infant or something that's trapped in a locked car that you need to get out of there because of the heat conditions and stuff. And the best thing is, if it doesn't work the first or second time, move to another window.
Let me ask you this on this kind of the same note, and I'm sure you've done tests with this. What about tinted windows?
It will crack the glass, but the tint kind of, it's like taping a window.
Okay.
It will crack it and break it and make the popcorn shatter, and then you can push it in. Okay. Just factory tint and aftermarket tint, it will break that window.
Okay.
But it won't fall down in a pile of popcorn like most tempered glass does. But it weakens it where you can just push it in.
Now, you said if you come across the tempered glass, go to the back glass. So that is, right now, as far as we know, that's not been changed to tempered glass.
No.
No, it is tempered glass. It doesn't have that laminate.
Yes, yes, it's tempered.
Okay,
That's
it's
right.
tempered. It's not laminate. Okay.
Correct.
So it will pop then.
Right.
Okay.
Your back doors and your back glass should all shatter. But the federal government thought that it would be a good idea that people were being ejected from cars through their windows, so they decided to put tempered glass on the side doors of the front to prevent ejections.
Oh, I see.
Which was a bad idea because wear your seatbelt would be a lot easier.
Yeah, that's going to make you stay inside the car.
Wear your seatbelt, you won't go out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're going to be bouncing around there like a beach ball anyways.
It's found that it's killed more people than it's saved.
Yeah.
So now they're going back to regular tempered glass on the side. So there's like 3 or 4 years of cars out there that you should know if your car has that type of glass on the front, that the Rescue Me won't work there, but it will work on the other windows in your car.
Well, again, you're listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids. I'm speaking with Sergeant Trent Smith from the Indiana State Police Public Information Office, diver with the Indiana State Police, our Detective Bob May, also a diver with the State Police. Bob, what's the story behind these, that we've got these special ones with the blue and the State Police insignia on it?
Well, I had a fund set up through the State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids. It was a nonprofit fund at my wife's company. Matched a donation dollar for dollar for what was ever in that fund. And after 21 years of on the dive team, I'm not on the dive team, and I still had money in that fund. And as part of a legacy of being on the dive team, I wanted every road trooper to have a Rescue Me. So I called Laurent, the owner of that company, who we're friends because we do stuff with him and Dr. Gordon Giesbrick.
Right, right.
I mean, the Indiana State Police dive team is probably one of the front runners in vehicle immersions of educating people about that. And this was just my way to say thanks for being on the dive team. And
well, not only you talked about punching the windows here, but it's got a secondary device here also on it, real sharp knife. What's it intended for?
That's for cutting seat belts, Rich.
Good.
But I also open up FedEx packages with it.
As you demonstrated before we
Yes.
went on the air, how you get in there. But that's a unique device also. So in case you need to get somebody out, seatbelts locked, maybe you can't get to it because of the passenger. Maybe they're upside down. and the
Upside
weight-
down is mainly the reason you can't undo a seat belt.
Yeah, because of the weight pushing down on it. Excellent. So these are all the troopers on the road are going to have these?
Hopefully, we had purchased one. 699 is how many road troopers are in uniform, counting sergeants, and that's how many we purchased.
Okay. And they'll have these available, but anybody can get these.
You can get those online at Amazon.com. There's going to be a link on the State Police website where you can order, I think, specifically the one with the State Police logo.
That's very cool. Well, we've been talking about rescuing and underwater rescues and getting your car, and that's something I think we ought to hit on before we get off the air here, because we've had a lot of rain here lately, and there have been a lot of water rescues. So let's kind of put fresh in people's minds. If number one, turn around, don't drown, right, guys? I mean,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the biggest thing. And even locally here where I live down in Greenwood, there were some roads that in Johnson County that were shut down. You know, the biggest thing we can tell people is don't be in a rush.
Yeah.
The thing that's different living down here, you know, I'm a transplant from up north. And when it rains down here, there's no place for it to go. A lot of clay in the soil, so it sticks around. It goes into streams and rivers and creeks where it's designed. But a lot of times the roads get covered with water pretty quick. And as we continue to preach, it only takes 2-3 inches of water to physically move a car off the road. So, and a lot of people don't realize how deep water is until they're actually in the midst of it. So if you see water that's moving quickly, or if you see signs that are already up in place that caution you, please don't go around them, because things can get treacherous really fast.
And unfortunately, we've had some deaths, either from some experienced kayakers who had life vests on, but went into some torrential rivers and streams and were sucked under by the, I'm sure you're more aware of these low overhead dams?
Low head dam.
Low head
That's
dam?
called the drowning machine.
That's what I understand, yeah. And I'm sure you guys as divers know they're not anything to mess with.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that even as divers we don't get into until conditions improve with things like that. So, you know, something that as easy as turning around and maybe going 5 minutes out of your way to find a different direction to work or home could possibly save your life. Because, what you have to realize is it's just as treacherous for the rescuers. It's going to take time to get there. And then, you know, they can only do so much at that point to try to get you out of that situation.
Plus, don't go into these streams and rivers when they're this flooded.
Yes, when you're driving your car and you go and you get swept off the road in your car, you have to roll your windows down and you have to be able to exit that car through your windows. And that car, if it's swept, it's going to snag on something in Indiana. It's going to hit a stump, a fence, or whatever.
Right.
But you cannot sit in that car
And call 911.
and call 911, and you can't sit in that car and let it fill with water. You have to get your head above water, whether you're, and I don't want you jumping into the water. Get on top of the car, get out the window on top of the car, or sit on the windowsill, but have your head above water. Well, then you can make your call. But if you sit in that car and it fills with water, you're going to drown. Plus, it might tumble. You might be upside down, so you have to be able to make your escape as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And get your kids out first.
That's what I was getting ready to say. And you've preached that before. You make sure you take care of your kids, get them out, and then take care of yourself.
But I pity
You've got to do it.
Yes, the cops aren't going to help you. Fire and rescue, the dive team, water rescue. You have to save yourself in a vehicle immersion. That is.
Yeah.
We might come get you with a boat downstream, but if you're not up above water, you're dead. You're going to die.
Well, guys, we're down to our last 30 seconds, so we've talked this show out. But I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you bringing the rescue tool in, and thanks for what you did for us, Bob.
You're welcome.
Trent, thanks for coming in and being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Again, you've been listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I want to thank Tom Trial for putting us on YouTube. Detective Bob May with the dive team, Sergeant Trent Smith, Public Information Office, and Dive Team for coming in and telling us about the Rescue Me tool. We'll catch you again next week on the ISP Roadshow. Thanks again. Roadshow out.